to Would I Lie to You at Christmas, a very special edition filled with festive fibs. On David Mitchell's team tonight, an actor who recently starred in the epic biblical movie Noah. It was a fantastic film to see at the cinema, although they did make you go in 2 by 2. It's Ray Winstone. One of the rising stars of British comedy told me he likes this guy. It's Josh Widdicombe. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, the star of the royal family who played a lazy, good-for-nothing, work-shy layabout. You're in good company tonight. It's Ricky Tomlinson. And a woman who is brilliant when it comes to numbers, except perhaps the musical ones on Strictly. It's Rachel Riley. And so we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. And Josh, you're first up.
I qualified as a football referee, but quit after 6 matches because the abuse became too much.
Please, team.
When was this?
It was when I was a teenager.
OK, so this year?
What's your vision with you, then? What's your vision?
I was 14, and so I could only referee children that were younger than me.
Why did you want to be a referee? I don't know any kids when I was growing up, and I would be ashamed if any of my
Only
children...
those who couldn't play football.
Well, that was the problem, that I wasn't very good at football, but I wanted to hang out with the kids that were in the football team at school.
Was there one particular incident that springs to mind?
There was.
What happened? I bet you wish you'd now said there wasn't.
No, I was refereeing a match, because when you referee at a kid's level, you don't have your own linesman, but a parent from each team has to linesman.
So you've got the parents running the line,
There was a parent running the line, and he gave an offside decision, but the ball had been played through by the defender, so I overruled, and he threw his flag down to the floor in anger.
Wow, that's quite angry.
Wow!
Yeah. And said, if you were my son, I'd be ashamed.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
well, you can't do
it. In that case, it's true. And apart from that incident, everything was all right?
No. There was a time when I gave a child a yellow card, and then his manager took me aside afterwards.
Sorry, his manager? Who was? Was his name Ronaldo? He had a manager?
Well, no, not like the manager of his team.
Can I just say that you have picked him up on the only bit of the story that is true? You can say manager.
Can you? A manager, like a football manager.
Someone like his agent. You're so showbiz, aren't you? His manager, now I'm 14. I didn't get a manager till I was 27. No, I'm not having that.
Exactly.
No, he wasn't.
So there are managers in football as well?
Yeah, he wasn't like...
You know when you're on the phone and you're complaining about your gas bill or something, they say, I'll just put you through to my manager. Do you go, manager? Oh, you're a bit special. I don't manager.
Anyway, this little child had a manager. Go on.
I booked this kid for quite a late tackle.
Well, it's good then. He's doing well, this manager, because he's getting him bookings.
Well, he did the opposite, Lee, actually.
Oh, did he?
He took me aside, and if you book a player when you're a referee, you have to then report it to the local FA so that they can be fined.
What did the manager say?
It was Christmas, actually. And he said, you don't want to fine a 12-year-old at Christmas. So I reported him, and then the guy was livid.
What did he do?
He gave me a very low mark, because we got marked out of 10 at the end of the match.
Oh, no, that's awful. If you can't imagine Ray doing that, oh, come over here. I'm going to have a word with you. I'm giving you 3 out of 10.
To me, I'm listening to the story. It's a very good story, but it's like a grass, isn't he, really?
He is like a grass, isn't he? Yeah.
I'm very disappointed.
This is my team.
No, hold on a minute. I'm very disappointed. I'm on your side. Which makes me a grass, isn't it?
Well, I think, looking at that, it looks like Ray is on trial for something, and David is his flustered barrister.
And Josh is the child that they're fighting custody of.
All right, so, what are you going to say? I mean, he's got a lot of detail.
I think it's sounding quite plausible. And I can imagine him being rubbish at football and having to turn to refereeing.
Ricky, what do you think?
I think it's a load of old tosh.
Oh, no,
Do you?
I think he's telling the
do,
truth.
yep.
Rachel says it's true. Ricky says it's a lie.
Go on.
I'm going to go with true.
OK, Josh Widdicombe, refereeing children. Truth or lie?
It is true.
Yes! Hey, well done!
Yes, it's true. Josh did quit his job as a football referee because the abuse became too much. Ray, you're next.
Right. At the bottom of my garden, I've built a replica Stonehenge.
Please, team.
How big is this Stonehenge?
Yeah.
In relation to the real Stonehenge?
Big enough.
What's it made out of?
Stone.
What type of stone?
Can I just check, how big is this Stonehenge?
I would say probably half the size of the original.
That's still massive.
Wow.
So why?
Well,
Around?
my garden faces south. And I think if you've got a nice-sized garden, you've got to have a reason to walk to the end of it.
Here's a question. The great mystery of Stonehenge is how they did it. How did they get the stones on top? It's never been solved. How did you get yours on top?
Yeah, a crane.
Oh, yeah.
How did the crane get in the garden?
I've got a little road that runs up the side of the
Oh,
garden.
that's handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who did you get to do it for you?
Eh?
Who did you... Don't give yourself time to think. The old classic, would I lie to you, hey?
Yeah.
Hey?
So I'm a bit
Could you say it again, Lee, but really slowly? Give me a minute.
Sorry, Lee, say that again?
Yeah. Who made it for you? Who did the building work?
If I remember right, his name was Peter.
Do you use it for anything?
Well, I always thought if one of my girls got married, you know, one day...
That is one confident boyfriend that's going to come round and say, Mr Winston, I'd like to marry your daughter.
What? Well, he wouldn't talk like that, would he?
So what do you think, Lee? Is this true?
It can't be true.
I think it's
No,
so
not
weird
for me,
it might
no.
be true. It's so
I think it's a load of old codswallop.
We're definitely saying a lie to
You're
them.
saying it's a lie. Ray Winston, truth or lie?
It's true.
Oh, my God!
Yes, it's true. Ray has built a replica Stonehenge at the bottom of his garden. And we have a picture. There it is. All right, our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, John. So, Rachel, what is John to you?
This is John. He comes to Countdown every single day and presents me with a freshly baked cake.
Ricky, what is John to you?
This is John. If he hadn't decided to join my band, he could have been in the Beatles.
And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with John?
This is John. After my mate John was involved in an accident, I went to visit him in hospital, but I mistakenly sat next to this John's bed and spoke to him for 2 hours.
David's team.
OK. Rachel, he brings a cake every day.
Yep.
What sorts of cakes?
Well, last week it was carrot cake, because that's my favourite.
So sometimes he deliberately doesn't make your favourite cake to show displeasure at your maths.
There's one he did, it looked like red velvet, but it was with beetroot. That was really good. And I think it was the Victoria sponge.
John looks gutted.
How many cakes
Of course he's
would you
gutted, he was
say?
almost in the Beatles!
How many cakes would you say he's given you?
237.
237 cakes.
Do you get someone to have a little peck before in case he's poisoned them?
Oh, no, because...
Carol Vorderman.
He comes...
So John comes and sits in the studio audience with the cake, and who collects the cake from him?
We always have a chat at the top of the show. We've got a warm-up guy, and you go and say hi, and he's there every time, so it's just...
I'm interested to hear that Countdown has a warm-up guy, because, I mean, that audience really is buzzing.
We have a very loyal audience.
What does John... Do you know anything about his life?
Well, he likes Countdown.
Yeah.
So even though he's brought you 237 cakes, you've never asked him anything about his life?
That's showbiz.
Can I see John's baking hands, or is he not allowed to move?
You can have a look if you want, Josh.
Yeah. Well, right. I can check if they're musicians' hands as well while I'm up here.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is it you're looking for there, Josh?
Just like flour under the nails. Those aren't the fingers of a guitar player.
Right.
Because they haven't got any hard ends on them.
Which is the exact phrase Paul McCartney used when he's acting.
Exactly.
What is the worst cake John has ever cooked you?
He doesn't do bad cakes.
No, but there's still, even
among
237 excellent cakes, there still has to be a worst.
You didn't get that voiceover for Greg's, did you?
All right, David. Okay, we'll move on to Ricky. I'm not an expert on music, so I feel...
You've heard of the Beatles, though?
I have heard of the Beatles. So how did you manage to spoil John's chances of being in the Beatles?
Well, I had a little band in Liverpool I used to go round, and one of my mates in my band spotted him and said, I've seen this fella, he's great, and we poached him.
What did he play? What instrument?
Piano.
Piano.
Piano?
Piano.
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 So,
So who's the pianist in the Beatles instead of him?
So, did you poach him directly from the Beatles?
no.
He was never in the Beatles?
No.
Well, how do you know he would have been in the Beatles?
Because the band that he was in went on to become the Beatles.
What were they called?
First of all, it was the Quarrymen, then the Silver Beatles, and then the Beatles.
So, I read the book about the Beatles. What's his surname?
John Duflo.
John Duflo?
Yeah.
Okay, you know a lot about
don't
this.
quite-
OK, ask the forensic question.
OK, when John was in the whatever incarnation of the Beatles, who else was in it at the time?
I think it was Pete Best,
Yeah.
Paul, John, and John Lennon,
Matthew, Mark.
Luke.
John joined your band, Ricky.
Yeah.
What was your band called?
The City Slickers.
And did it go well for the City Slickers?
I think John
Compared
was
to
a
the
little bit...
Beatles, which would you say
I
went
think
better?
John was a bit too good for us, and he didn't drink as much as us, so he got off.
Did he resent that you'd taken him out of the Beatles?
No, I think the hate mail is just part of the game.
David, what about Lee? Remind us of yours, Lee.
OK, so this is John. After my mate John had been involved in an accident, I went to visit my mate John, but mistakenly sat next to this John's bed and spoke to him for 2 hours.
Why didn't you realise it was a different John?
Because this John had had some bad injuries, and as a result, his jaw was all wired up. He had a bandage over his eye, and the bit that was left was a very, very black eye, lots of grazes and scabs bandaged around his head.
And you thought, my God, that must have been a tough appendicitis operation.
Well, I never said my mate John had had an appendicitis.
No, what had happened to your mate John?
So my mate John, he'd been involved in a sledging accident. He's my neighbour, and someone had phoned me and said, John's in hospital, he's had a bad sledging accident.
How had the accident happened?
It's a weird one. You know, sometimes people go to hospital and they're all right, but then they go downhill very quickly. Complete reverse.
So you arrive at the hospital.
Yeah.
And do you know what ward John is in?
No, I don't know what ward he's in, because I've just raced straight there. Asked his name, they sent me up to the third floor. I went into there's like a mini reception then, and I said, I'm looking for John, the guy involved in the sledging accident.
You didn't think to use the surname of John once you got to the mini reception?
By this time, I was panicked.
So you're very emotionally close to your
I'm
next-door
very fond of my neighbour John,
So
yeah.
you really, the process of going to the hospital, you're panicking. Oh, my
if
God,
someone- look,
is he all right? Is he all right? I can't remember his surname.
No, because John, my mate John lives on his own, and I'm not going
He
for the sympathy
lives
vote.
on his own occasion. He goes sledging on his own. He's a loner. He was out. A very active, Christmassy loner.
He was out with his grandchildren.
So you got to the mini reception.
Yeah.
What did you say to the nurse?
I'm looking for John, the sledging accident, and this woman English wasn't her first language. She sort of said something quickly, like pointed end to the right. So I rush up, and I'm sat in this sort of, private room just with his bed, and I'm saying to him, I'm so sorry. Joe, first of all, where are the grandkids? Do you want me to sort anything out? And he went, oh. Which I now know to be, I think you've got the wrong person.
When did you discover that this John wasn't your John?
When I started to realise something wasn't right was when in his state he still managed to mime and go, That was the bit I thought, something's not right here. And then as I was thinking, a nurse came in and I said, can I just check? This is John, who's been involved in the sledging accident. And she said, no. And I said, well, when I asked you, you said to,
It was the same one as the one on the reception desk.
This is the bit that you're not going to believe.
Yeah.
It turns out this woman whose language wasn't first language English, turns out his surname is Ledging. And thought that I'd said John Ledging accident.
Is your next door neighbour's surname Ladder by any chance?
Don't be facetious, you know it's not.
Yeah.
That's my stepson's name.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is John Rachel's baking buddy, Ricky's musical mate, or Lee's poorly patient?
It's not Lee, is it?
We don't think it's Lee. I think Ray thinks it might be Ricky.
Yeah.
You think it might be
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it could be Ricky. John, show us your fingers
You
again.
hold your hands up, thank you.
Yeah, they look like pianist fingers to me.
Good for baking.
That is exactly as he was lying when I went There was metal rods underneath that.
I think if Rachel was telling the truth, she'd have known more about his life.
Yeah, 'cause
she
she's
knew
a
very
nice
little.
girl, she'd want
Yeah,
to
she'd
know.
know at least, about his life at all.
You are
Yeah.
quite bright, actually.
I think it might be Rachel.
I don't think it's Rachel, but...
OK, and you don't... You both think it's Ricky,
I've
don't
got
you?
to go with Ricky, I think, yeah.
OK, well, I think we're going to say it's Ricky. It's telling
OK,
the truth.
right. John, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name's John. I could have been in the Beatles, but I left to join Ricky's band.
Yes, John is Ricky's musical mate. Thank you, John.
Nice to see you, Kev.
Oh, my God.
How are you, my friend?
Great to see you.
Lovely. And it is 50 years, isn't it?
Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, and we start with... It's David.
Possession.
Ah, there's a box under the desk, David. Would you take the card out?
Yes.
And read the card, and then
Okay.
show us the possession, please.
OK. This is my frog lamp. I pop it on when I go down to the bottom of the garden to check on the frogs.
OK, if you could take the frog lamp out. And...
Fantastic.
And I think it... well, as you know, you can switch it on. You know how to do it. There we are.
Yeah.
Lee's team.
That is, without doubt, the most working class you've ever looked.
I'm going to save the battery. It's all right.
So, OK, the frogs at the bottom of your... Are they at the bottom of your garden?
Yes.
Are they your frogs in a sort of pet sense, or are they frogs that live wild, like at a stream that's at the bottom of your garden?
There's a bucket of them, and I initially that I got from frog spawn in my parents' pond.
A whole bucket full of frog spawn?
A whole bucket full of frog spawn.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Or did I?
Why do you check on your frogs with At night?
Because I'm embarrassed to do it by day. It's a good time, I've been told, to check on them as well.
What are you checking for?
I'm just...
Still there?
Observing them, see if they're still there.
Okay.
I like to look at them.
So, question for you. Why do you not just carry a torch? What is it you're leaving your hands free for that you're looking at the frog?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Well, you can't just hold a torch. What do you need these for when you're looking at the frog?
No, I mean, I think it would be possible to check on them without this, but as I have this tremendous hat...
That's a good question. So that is just... You just happen to have that hat.
Yeah.
So what did you have that hat for before the frog?
Where did I get this hat?
Where did you get
Where
that
did
hat?
I get this hat?
Isn't it a funny
Where
one? I've
did
never
I
seen
get
one
this
like
hat?
that.
Yeah. I got this hat. This hat belonged to my grandfather.
Was it...
Your grandfather was very advanced, wasn't he? I mean, the halogen light, he must have been the talk of the village. They must have thought of him as the devil's own witchcraft.
Why did your grandfather own that hat?
I don't know why he owned this hat.
So your granddad gave you that hat?
No.
Oh, you passed on after he died?
It was discovered in the garage.
And no one ever knows what he used to do with it. They're all... Did your grandmother just go, that's curious? She didn't even...
I couldn't ask my grandmother because she predeceased my grandfather by several decades.
Oh, holy...
There's a
horrible
clip.
man.
There's a clip for the Christmas trailer.
Christmas time,
Do you touch the frogs?
I do occasionally, but they don't like it.
What do they do when you touch them?
They hop off.
Do they make
Not that
any-
they're on my...
They
I
make
mean, they
any
hop
sound?
away.
So what do you think?
Rachel,
I like it. I'm buying it.
you're buying it. You're buying the hat. Ricky,
I don't believe him.
you don't believe it?
No, I don't believe him.
So what are you going to say, Lee?
Well, we'll say it's a lie.
Saying it's a lie. OK, David, truth or lie?
Yes, you've got lucky. It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. David doesn't wear a frog lamp to check on the frogs in his garden. Next. It's Ray.
Oh, OK. Yeah, whenever I eat a boiled egg, I say, sorry, Mr. Egg, as I bash its head in with a spoon.
OK, so how long have you been doing this for?
Since I was a little boy.
Right. And why do you feel you need to apologise to an egg?
We used to draw faces on eggs, you know, and it was just a nice thing to do, you know. I'm sorry, Mr. Egg. You kind of make a little cut on it because your mum would show you how to do that, and you'd apologise when you'd done the bashing.
And now you're a grown-up, are you still drawing faces on the egg?
Well, I do for my little girl, yeah. And there's nothing like a boiled egg. In fact, now, using your phone, you get the perfect timer for an egg now. Yeah, I've just got it off to a T, and I'm very good at making boiled eggs.
Is this just become a cookery show?
When did you last do this, Ray? When was the last time you did it?
I was away last week, so it would have been the week before last.
Where were you last week?
Berlin.
What were you doing there?
Just keeping me eye on the Germans.
Now, what are you thinking?
What do we think?
I don't know. I don't think it's true.
What do you think, Rachel?
I think it's false.
OK, my team says it's a lie. I have to go with a lie.
OK, so lie. Ray, truth or lie?
It's a lie.
Next. It's Lee.
I can write so well with my right foot that to save time writing Christmas cards, I simultaneously write one card with my hand and one card with my foot.
David's team.
I think we just want to have a demonstration. So can you write one card to Rob and one to me?
All right.
I can think of another time saver, actually, because you can actually get cards where they've already printed Happy Christmas on them for you.
And that's the kind of emotionless man you are. You get them printed when it says, sorry to hear that someone's died, and then you've got David. Now,
couple of cards.
Yes, so...
A couple of pens.
Yeah, now, obviously, it's going to be difficult because my sofa's not as high as this at home, so how the hell do you expect me to sit on there and reach the floor?
Yeah. Why don't you just use Rob's chair?
And then use it on the floor. Good idea. Can I use your chair, Rob?
Yeah, of course.
It'd be a nice treat for you sitting on the big high stool. So, there you go. Hang on, I'll help you up. Just... So we get here. So this is me at home, obviously, sat on my own.
I feel like a song
both
now.
at the same time now for us.
Can I just say at school...
Have you ever had one of those days? See you the same time next week. I'm Val Dunican. Goodbye. Set the scene for us, Lee.
I'll
It's
set
the
the
run-up
scene.
to Christmas.
It's the run-up to Christmas.
You're at home.
We've left it a bit late.
Yeah.
My wife's saying, oh, we haven't done the Christmas cards again, sweetheart. And I say, fear not, love, because remember my party trick. I can... If I help you, we'll do it 3 times as quick. Because the 3 of us, me, her and the foot. So, the pen, the red pen for now, will go into... Thus. OK? So that card will go on the floor there. Like that. And then, wait, Josh, look. And then the other one goes in the hand there. And I think, you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, I have demonstrated it perfectly. I mean, what else is there to do?
Well, why don't you try and
We're
write
running out of
me?
time, Rob. I think we should wrap it up now.
Why don't you try and write me?
Time, Rob. We're running out of time.
I think you could write...
That's the end of the game.
Have I moved to Scotland? Why don't you write me with that one, a lovely Christmas message and a lovely one for David.
So, here we go.
Still, I can see why this is a tremendous time saver.
Off you go, start corresponding.
Now.
Well done. Hey! Well done.
He's doing it. He is doing it. And this one, come on. Oh, the kisses, good.
Oh, happy Christmas.
All right. Alrighty.
Can I have a look?
This is yours, David. It's a little. If you received that in the post, you'd think someone wanted to kill you, wouldn't you?
I think we're going to go true.
You're going to. So, are you saying it is the truth, or are you saying it is a lie?
No, it's a lie.
It's a lie.
It is a lie.
So, Lee, was it the truth, or might it have been a lie?
It was, in fact, a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee doesn't use his hands and feet to write 2 Christmas cards at the same time. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal the scores are tied. It's a draw. But it's not just a team game. My individual liar of the week is Ray Winstone. Yes, Ray Winstone. He's been responsible for more hot air than a plate full of sprouts. Good night.